Nick only has about 2/3 pot left behind.
Look at that. Craig is pushing Nick all in.
Even less. Nick only with about half pot here. He's getting nearly 3-1 on this call. He thinks Craig is trying to bully him.
We have a raise here by Nick Papello, who has his lucky shirt wrapped around his neck. It's a good luck charm for him. He's superstitious. And right behind him, Will Berry with King Queen. Came into the final table with a ton of chips, but now he's on the short stack. He's going to call this off. So, Ace 10 versus King Queen. Here we go. It's a Queen Jack 9. Great there for Will Berry.
Both players with good hands pre-flop, but Will has outflopped his buddy Nick. Nick starts out firing 450,000 with his ace high and open-ended straight draw. And Will only started this hand with 29 blinds, so he's going to want to get the money in, and it's really a question of how, but he's going to start by calling.
7 on the turn.
Not the card Nick was looking for, and at this point, if he bets the turn, I don't think he can fold if Will moves in, so Nick wisely checks over to Will, who has a little over a pot-sized bet remaining. So Will, considering how much to bet, methodical as always, chooses 1.1 million.
Yeah, that's going to sting if you're Nick. And what will he do? He's going to fold that hand and give it up to Will Berry, who needs to come back. You know, he's played impeccably tonight. He's had some bad luck. He was just taking his time, waiting for opportunities. It didn't happen, but I have to say, I haven't seen him make a mistake yet. And now the action is on Trung. He's been playing poker just for a couple years. He's from Houston, Texas. He's going to fold at Nick Papello, this time with Ace-King. Nick grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, now lives in Gilbert, Arizona. He's won a lot of money in poker, close to 2.5 million. He's raised this, and Craig with King 3 of clubs. The local Vegas guy will make the call. Craig is the chip leader. Let's see if he gets lucky here. Ace 7-7 on this flop. Great for Nick. Nothing for Craig.
And a savvy check from Nick there, aware of the fact that Craig is actually holding the 7 advantage here, and he needs to mix in some checks.
375.
I can't imagine Craig putting money into this pot. He just has king high, no pair, no draw, no nothing, and yet he calls the bet. This is surprising. Normally when players check back an ace high flop, they have some showdown value, and another ace on the river will put 2 pair on the board. So it's 1.1 million from Nick over to Craig. Is he going to fold his king high, or does he think he has caught Nick in some kind of bluff?
Oh boy.
Wow.
He's calling with king high.
Craig, with his pocket queens, will raise out of the small blind into Trung's big blind, and Trung with a pretty playable Jack-8 suited here. These two have been battling all night, especially in the blinds. So we'll run it back one more time. And King Jack Deuce on the flop. Second pair for Trung, but Craig still on the lead. Looks like that king is not going to slow him down. He fires 300,000.
Trung, of course, getting jacks here. 3 diamonds as well. Do you want to keep investing here? Young player from Houston making the call. Hoping to get lucky on the turn. No, a king pairs the board. Neither player having a king, of course.
Could be an expensive card for Trung, as it's now less likely that his opponent has a king. But as we know, he's got the only pair between the jack and the king.
And Craig is betting 450 with the queens. And
what is Trung doing? There is just no reason to raise this hand. And Craig just jams it on him. Even that seems ambitious. You can't say for sure that Trung doesn't have a king here when he raises you. I really don't know what anybody is doing in this hand.
Well, Craig is just playing on feel alone and says if you have it, you have it. And of course, this is a big problem for Trung. He doesn't have it. He needs more time, so he's taking a time chip that extends his decision for another 30 seconds.
Well, Trung has made this pot bigger and this hand harder than it has to be, but he eventually gets away.
Play online poker for real cash and prizes at WPT Global. Sign up for free today using bonus code FB25 and get a $1,200 deposit bonus.
Trung said he felt he was going to do it. He got the message from the heavens above to play this event, that he was going to score big.
But look at this. Will, who just 3-bet Trung in the same position, now has pocket kings. Let's see if he plays it the same.
Race.
Yes, he does. It's the exact same 3-bet, just above 1 million.
Yep, Craig gets out of the way, so it's back on Trung.
Money.
And a quick call here by the Kings. And Trung is on the ropes at this point. He is a dog at this point. Will out in front has him completely covered. Man, Will Berry in a good place with the Cowboys. Can he knock out the Houstonian? Mr. Trung mixes up his game beautifully, but with his ace-queen, what's going to happen? Sweating him out, and the flop is not good for Trung. 9-7 deuce.
He's searching for an ace. He could technically catch running diamonds for a flush. But as you see there, Will over a 4-1 favorite to eliminate Trung.
Will Berry looking very stoic, emotionless, loves the 10. Trung needs to hit the ace to survive.
Well, let's see if Trung can find a miracle river.
Now it's over.
It is a pointy one on the river, but it's just a 4. Trung fam. And his ace-queen not quite good enough to suck out on Will Berry and his pocket kings.
No, he won't now. Will Berry, king, queen. He came into this final table as the chip leader. He went down to the short stack. Now he's got chips again, over 9 million. So he has called this. Craig wakes up with queens. Gonna make it 450 to go with it. All right, this could get very interesting. It's been called queens up against king, queen. And the flop is a 9-10-7.
Decent flop for Will's hand. Gives him a gut shot to the nuts, plus the overcards. Craig makes a savvy check here, knows that that board connects with Will's range a little better than his.
Yeah, he's gonna play it sneaky. He checks it. 7 pairs the board.
And Will might decide to bet his hand here and try and push the ace-high parts of Craig's range out. But of course, Craig did not check back on the flop to fold queens on the turn. So it's 650 from Will over to Craig, and he will make this call.
Well, great thing about Craig, he rarely does what you would expect from a poker pro. Very unorthodox, mixes up his game, keeps disguising the strengths of his hand. Ace on the river, it's got to be a scary card for both players, and they both check.
Yeah, that ace, not a good one for Will to try and bluff, as Craig will actually have a number of aces in his range getting to the river like that. And Craig doesn't try and value bet his hand, so another pot for our chip leader. And Will manages to only lose a little bit with his king-queen running into queens. Now, with the 8-9 offsuit on the button.
He's getting out raising chips with this. 325 to juice it up. Craig with a pair of fours here, just calling. And Nick gonna rest with his shirt, goes out. So fours versus 9, 8. These guys in another big battle. Look at this, 3 of a kind, but Will.
Huge flop for Will. Decides to slow play here. Checks back his trips, and on the King of Diamonds turn, I would expect Will to start putting money in this pot.
And he's betting 550. And Craig with just a pair of fours. Great laydown to get out of the way, but no, he's too tempted. He's involved. He's calling the 550. Going to the river. And it's an ace of diamonds.
And that'll put 3 diamonds out there. And with all the overcards, potential flush, I would be very surprised if Craig gets sticky against a bet from Will, but Craig has been very sticky in general tonight, so maybe he'll get himself... Nope. He just drops out right away there.
Yep, he got the memo, and he's going to give it up to Will Berry. So on Nick, he's got ace 4. He'll make it 400,000 to go. Will now with a jack, 4 of clubs. And is going to let these guys battle. Craig with king 7 will make this call. So ace 4 versus king 7. And the flop will be a 7-7-4. Fantastic for Craig.
Gin flop for Craig, and Nick didn't start this hand with that many chips, so I wonder if Craig tries to get him all in on the flop, or if he wants to play his hand more slow.
Nick's caught 4s. So there's a bet by Nick, just okie dokie called by Craig.
I don't know what I think of this lead. The turn 10 of diamonds did complete the flop flush draw, so it's not as though Craig has a nut hand here. Nick, not convinced that Craig has anything good, makes the call here, so going to the river, it's a 3 of clubs. Nick only has about 2/3 pot left behind.
Look at that. Craig is pushing Nick all in.
Even less, Nick only with about half pot here. He's getting nearly 3-1 on this call. He thinks Craig is trying to bully him.
He's been so disciplined all night, but he's going to make the wrong move right now. He has made the call, and he is out of here.
That never feels good when you call off your tournament life long on the river. Been there before. It's a dirty feeling, but Nick should be proud of the way he played tonight.
Play online poker for real cash and prizes at WPT Global. Sign up for free today using bonus code FB25 and get a $1,200 deposit bonus.
Oh, he's got queens here for Craig. Craig here with a big hand. Has raised to 350. Will Berry. Do you want to see a flop? Yes. 9-3 of diamonds. We'll see the flop. Here we go.
It's a pretty good flop for Will's hand. 7-5 deuce, 2 diamonds, so a diamond flush draw and a backdoor straight draw. A couple of backdoor straight draws actually, so yeah, a whole lot of hand. But still, the queens of Craig way in front.
Craig is going to put the pressure once again. 400. Quick call by Will Berry. Okay, and we'll get the diamond here. No, it's a 10.
He'll check it over to Craig. And he'll cut out a bet of 950,000.
He's not going to let Will in cheap.
Will, with his flush draw, has 9 outs going to the river. He's going to make this call.
Yes, going in for the heavy investment. Will it pay off? Yes, it does. Ace of diamonds.
That is a card that completes both the diamond flush draw and 4-3. So I believe that Will lead out and deprive Craig the opportunity to check back.
10 seconds.
He's going to finally make the bet.
And this is a tough spot for Craig. He would definitely call if he had the queen of diamonds. Without, it gets closer. But there are some missed draws you can put Will on here. 6-4, 8-6, 8-9.
He's going to look him up. And that is massive for Will Berry. Craig Varnell getting the hit right there. And with that, they're pretty close to even. Will Berry now, slight chip leader. That's how you make it happen there.
These guys came into our final table first and second in chips. Not surprising that they find themselves heads up now. Will is going to open the action with a raise to 375, holding 5-4 offsuit. Craig has a nice looking 8-6 suited in the big blind. He'll make the call. And a flop of ace-6-3, so an open ender for Will's 5-4. And Craig with a pair and a backdoor flush draw.
Craig is going to check it. This is just a nice flop for Will. And he will bet it 300. Of course, Craig's not going anywhere with the sixes. Let's see if something exciting happens here. No, it's a 10 of spades.
Now that 10 doesn't really help Craig. But Will with just 5 high is going to need to bet if he wants to win this hand and doesn't make his straight. So I suspect he will barrel here.
Will he apply pressure? Craig just called before the flop, so Will's not putting him on an ace, that's for sure. And there's a big bet of 1.5.
Nice bet sizing from Will, betting full pot here. Really makes it difficult on Craig with that third pair, and he gets out of the way.
Yes, Will Berry has muscled Craig Varnell out of that pot. They're both excellent heads-up players. There's Will Berry with an ace-6, and he has raised to 375. Craig with an 8-6 of clubs. He's going to go over the top with a raise as well. So he makes it close to 1.2 with an 8-6.
Yeah, Will has an ace, but it's not a very playable one. Doesn't flop well. And he seems to agree, because he's going to make a 4-bet here. This is an interesting bluff from Will, but I like it very much.
What is it?
Flop is a queen 8-3.
Pretty good flop for Craig's hand. I didn't really expect him to get here, but I don't know how he would get away now.
Will Berry's going to come in with this bet here. Close to 1.7. Craig hitting 8s. How's he going to play it?
All in.
He's going to play it all in.
This pot got way bigger than I thought it would, but it certainly worked out for Craig.
Who's going to get their name inscribed on the Champions Cup here tonight? Also received $379,000 for the first place prize. $243 for second. And this time a big hand for Craig. Ace 10 of diamonds. Pair pair of 8s for Will Berry, though.
It's Craig is 3-bet again. And Will's 8s are a very strong hand to heads up hold 'em.
All in.
Call.
Yeah, he's all in, and Craig immediately calls. So we are going to have a coin flip for a title.
Craig Varnell gets up from his seat. So does Will Berry. Greatest girlfriend of all time. Oh boy, it is coming down to this.
Well, they called for the 10 of hearts and they got it. King 10-5. Craig Varnell takes the lead. Will now join the 2-8s or running clubs.
Club, of course.
Queen of spades.
Come on, baby, hold. Brick.
One more card to sweat.
Yes, baby.
It is a king! That is it! Craig Varnell, your champion, has pulled off one of the most improbable and remarkable comebacks in WPT history.
I have to agree. I think I've never seen anything like this before. Amazing! Craig Varnell is our champion! Okay, I'm standing here with our champion, Craig Varnell. Let's hear it for him! Craig, what are you feeling right now?
I don't even know really to feel right now because my life, I've always been the underdog. I've always made a lot of bad decisions in life when I was younger, and I had to scrounge from like the bottom all the way to, you know, where I am now. So, you know, I mean, I had no money 5 years ago, and you know, I went all in on poker with all the money I had, and here we are.
Let's go! On behalf of our friends at Baccarat, let's hear it one more time for our champion, Craig Varnell!